From WFRV TV, Green Bay, Fox Cities, and the Lakeshore, this is Local 5 News.
And a very good Sunday morning to you. I'm Eric Richards, and Chad joins us this morning. Good morning, sir. It is a lot cooler out there this morning.
Yeah, really refreshing start here to the Sunday morning. Had a few rain showers at times yesterday, then eventually by the afternoon we got into a little sunshine, so not a bad Saturday to start off the weekend. And today now we're looking awfully nice. Temperatures across the area right now range from 49 up in Anago. We're at 52 in Oconto, 55 here in Green Bay, and now at 60 here early this morning. In Sheboygan, just a few clouds, generally south of Green Bay at the moment, coming from a diminishing area of rain near the Wisconsin Dells right now. That will soon come to an end. The rest of your morning is looking dry with lots of sunshine, then a few clouds into the afternoon, and there could be an isolated shower or a storm for a few of us later on this afternoon. That will be very hit and miss, so do not cancel any plans here for your Sunday afternoon, as any rain we do see should be out of here fairly quickly. And then we're looking at a pretty good forecast to start the work week. More of that coming up in just a few minutes, Eric.
All right, Chad, thank you very much. New this morning, President Trump's younger brother, Robert Trump, has died. Robert Trump was admitted to a Manhattan hospital with an unspecified illness. He reportedly had health problems for months. The president said in a statement on Saturday night, quote, "He was not just my brother, he was my best friend. He will be greatly missed, but we will meet again," end quote. Robert Trump was 71 years old. Back here at home, 3 people are without a home after an apartment fire Saturday morning. Green Bay Metro fire officials say that crews responded to reports of a stove fire around 8 a.m. on the city's east side. Firefighters were able to knock down the fire and contain it to the apartment's kitchen area. Officials determined the cause of the fire was an unattended cooking stove and reported about $15,000 worth of damages. The Red Cross is helping with temporary housing. Protesters blocked intersections and a bridge protesting video released by the Green Bay Police Department. The video, called "Hands Up, Don't Shoot," shows an officer giving public instructions on how to defuse a tense situation with the police.
Put your hands on top of your head. You're under arrest. You're under arrest. Put your hands on top of your head.
So in this scenario, this young man had nothing to do with the situation at hand, but found himself in a scary encounter surrounded by police cars. And he did everything right. He remembered, hands up, don't shoot, got his hands in the air, and showed those police officers that he was not a threat to them, so that they could approach, make contact with him, and sort out the truth of what was going on.
The video was part of the Green Bay Police Department series called "Behind the Badge" and was posted to social media. Green Bay police say that the video was meant to help educate the public about some of their policies and procedures. Green Bay Police Lieutenant Chad Ramos spoke with Local 5's Rhonda Fox.
Green Bay Police Department just released some public service videos called "Back in the Badge," where one of them say, "Hands up, won't shoot," making a basic mockery of the Ferguson chant, "Hands up, don't shoot."
But the Green Bay Police Department says that video is meant to inform residents and protect lives.
Many activist groups in recent years have coined a fantastic term, hands up, don't shoot.
So when you watch that video, and from my perspective, it really is to educate people in terms of, should you find yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time, what the expectation from law enforcement would be.
The Green Bay Police Department hopes people will use this video to better understand police procedures.
The scenario being given in that video was a weapon, dangerous type call that the officers were coming into. The person meets the vague description, wrong place at the wrong time, but here's how you can help us help you get out of that situation as soon as possible and back to your life, and by showing your hands, keeping them in the air so that we can see that there is or isn't anything in them.
Police say the hands up command is given during exigent situations, and not following that command could put lives at risk.
If a law enforcement officer asks to see your hands, there's a concern about either information given ahead of time that there might be a weapon involved. And by You showing your hands to law enforcement, that helps to reassure them that there is nothing in your hands and that there isn't a weapon involved, and that it really keeps everybody safe. The idea behind it was to give some education, some understanding of why police do what they do, certainly not to demean, not to discredit any other movements. We just want to keep everybody safe.
In Green Bay, Rhonda Fox, Local 5 News.
Thanks, Rhonda. And Green Bay police say if residents have any questions about their procedures, they can voice their concerns on August 27th. They will host an online community advisory roundtable. Here now is the latest on the coronavirus in Wisconsin. The report shows that less than 1,000 new positive cases were confirmed, but 13 new virus-related deaths were reported. That brings Wisconsin's total to 65,056 cases, and the death toll has surpassed the 1,000 mark. Now, 1,038 people across the state have died from coronavirus. Well, you may have noticed some food trucks parked in parking lots around town of local businesses. Fair food service is actually a $4.6 billion industry nationwide. In normal years, according to one vendor we talked to, he says that the industry has been heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, so vendors have to roll with the punches.
We adapted because we didn't have any income. This helps us out, and the local people really support us.
Nationwide, food trucks are asking local businesses if they can set up shop in their parking lots to try to earn back some of the income that they've lost. Well, yesterday would have been the first home preseason game for the Packers, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Titletown was more like a ghost town. Just like Lambeau, many nearby restaurants also had empty seats. Normally, the stadium district would be swarming with Packers fans. Without that revenue, restaurants like Stadium View are using creative ways to get fans back into Titletown. Owners of Stadium Way say that they are trying different DJs and bands.
Business is definitely not the same. We're just digesting that and trying to find different fun things that we can do, getting different DJs in here, bands, and, doing what we can do.
They expect fans to pack the place for the Packers' first home game on September 13th against the Minnesota Vikings. Well, make sure you join Local 5's Tom Zalaski this morning for Newsmaker Sunday. He'll focus on the November election and the race to become the state senator representing the Green Bay area. Democrat Jonathan Hansen faces Republican Eric Wimberger. The winner takes the seat held by Democrat Dave Hansen, who is retiring at the end of his term. Tom talks with Eric Wimberger. He was born in De Pere and served in the U.S. Marine Corps as a captain. Join the conversation this morning at 7:30 right here on Local 5. And events have changed this year, many moving virtually so people aren't gathering, and that includes this year's Wisconsin Public Service Volunteer Awards. Each day until next Thursday, we will be honoring a local volunteer who has helped their community. Today's winner is the hospitality team at Wellspring of St. John, the Evangelist Homeless Shelter. With just one full-time and two part-time staff members, Wellspring is sustainable largely due to its committed volunteers who give their time and help to break the cycle of joblessness, homelessness, and poverty. You can watch the virtual award ceremony this Thursday starting at 8 in the morning. Local 5 anchors Tom Zalaski and Aaron Davison will be hosting. To watch, you have to register online to get the Zoom link, and you can find that on the Volunteer Green Bay website. Well, we are just getting started here on Local 5 Sunday morning. The U.S. Agriculture Department is continuing to help farmers financially as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. Why some say it's not fair, that's ahead in this morning's Ag Report.
And it's a dry start across northeast Wisconsin on this Sunday morning, but we could see a few afternoon showers and storms. But more details on that coming up in the Storm Team 5 forecast.